Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Broads. We are broadcasting live from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. It's Thursday morning, and look, we have a big-time game on Sunday. This is crucial. You cannot start the season off 0-2. Things get super tough after Cincinnati, right? So how can you possibly start the season off 0-2? You can't. And I have a gut feeling that this team will find a way to win. I always like to tie in last season and what we witnessed, that Thursday night football game going into Lambeau Field. It looked like such a tough spot for the Birds on a short week, and they delivered. Every time you feel that, oh, well, there's no way they're going to win this game, not that I feel that strongly that they will lose this game, but when you look at a situation where you think it's going to be tough for the Eagles, they do find ways to grind out that victory. I do sense that they know how important it is to end up being 1-1 instead of 0-2. And the reason I bring that up is because after the Bengals, they play the 49ers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Baltimore Ravens. Three teams that are super tough and very solid, well-coached, a lot of great minds on those teams when it comes to the coaching staff, and phenomenal personnel as well. So look, this is a big one. You know, I'm not going to go as strong as saying this is a must-win football game in week 2, but hey, let's go. There should be an extra sense of focus, an extra sense of urgency. Their mindset should be so dialed in going, yo, fellas, we cannot let something poor happen to us on Sunday like we let it happen last week. So the three parts of this team that need to pick it the hell up: the offensive line, Doug Pederson, and Carson Wentz. Now, with Lane Johnson returning to right tackle, that's huge. It's huge. Is there still a hole at right guard? You're hearing that the coaching staff loved the way that Nate Herbig was graded out. Okay. Every time they speak, it's laughable. Now, I'm not going to make it seem as if Herbig and Driscoll, look. We had Brian Baldinger on 97.3 ESPN with myself and Mike Gill on Wednesday's show. And he was going through his Baldy breakdowns like he does on Twitter, and they're phenomenal. And I'm not knocking Brian Baldinger saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. Of course he knows what he's talking about. He's very, very good at his job. And I love the way that he implements the Baldy breakdowns on his Twitter. They're very entertaining and knowledgeable. You can gain a lot of knowledge from that. But it was almost as if he was grading with a curve. Oh, well, look at these players on the right side of the line. For who they are, they did just fine. He was more pissed off with Doug Peterson's game plan. Why are you throwing the ball and dropping Carson Wentz back so many times, allowing that defensive front to be able to at least have an opportunity to create pressure? And I think that that's a very valid point. But he was making it seem as if, well, for who they are, they did fine. And okay, I can get behind that logic. For who they are, getting thrown into the fire, you thought, hey, it probably could have been worse. Even though it was awful, it could have been worse. What I'm hearing is, it's not so much about the one-on-one play. It's more about the communication. That was the reason why it looked so awful. Not so much about getting beat. And I guess that's better than the alternative, which is getting shredded one-on-one, right? Because then it means, these guys can't play. Communication, you would think that you can figure that stuff out. But my point is, I don't care which way it is. Honestly, I don't care if it's the communication or getting beat one-on-one. It was ugly. It was horrible. You can't defend anyone. Oh, well, Driscoll wasn't too bad. Herbig wasn't too bad. Mailata was all right. Yeah, he had 8 sacks. 8 sacks. And if you want to throw 3 of them on Carson Wentz, 2 of them on Carson Wentz for the holding of the ball, okay. I don't care if it was communication or just straight up getting beat man to man. The reality is, Carson Wentz is getting hit too many damn times. Now, Lane Johnson being back in the mix does add a big difference. It's a huge hole that is now fixed. But you can question what's going on with that ankle injury when it comes to the right tackle position in Lane Johnson. What's happening with that ankle? Is he going to have enough support? Why did it even take him so long to figure out the issue and get the surgery? That's what makes it the most bonkers to me. We're talking about an injury from last year, and here he is working out on it, putting up some videos on Instagram, dancing in the locker room, yet, hey, we got to go in there and scrape some stuff out. It doesn't add up. So I hope the ankle is good enough for him to be able to plant his foot, and execute. There's no denying, though, that his presence is huge when it comes to the communication. Okay, he's been there for a long time. He's a veteran. He's a pro's pro. He knows what he's doing when it comes to the communication, and that's a big aspect of that offensive line. Miles Sanders. You need him. Boston Scott and Corey Clement, they're not cutting it. And that's no knock on them. They're not legit featured backs. Boston Scott is a nice change of pace guy. Corey Clement, I don't really know how much he has left in the tank, but you know that he's limited. And when the offensive line can't create any gaps, create any holes, good luck. But Miles Sanders, it just adds another element to the offense. From the passing game and from actually just getting the ball handed off to him. And that will only help out this entire offense. It'll only help out Carson Wentz. There's so much more that's available when the run game succeeds. You can work in play action, and then you have more availability when it comes to what is open over the field, over the middle, because the defense is then going to get sucked into those play action passes. When you're just heaving it 60 yards every damn play, you're not going to be able to get a lot done. It's easy to defend that. Doug Pederson versus Sean McVay, that's a matchup that is intriguing. Because there is this conversation about Sean McVay around the league that he is this offensive guru genius that just knows everything. And look, he can remember every play that happened throughout the game, and his memory is so fantastic. And I'm not knocking Sean McVay, saying he's not a smart individual. I think he is a very smart football mind. But Doug Pederson, head-to-head with Sean McVay, is able to do some damage. And the type of media that Sean McVay gets compared to Doug Pederson, who I do question a lot. So here I am kind of being a hypocrite. But when it comes to head-to-head, Doug Pederson does have the edge. So that makes me feel good heading into the matchup on Sunday. Believe it or not, that makes me feel good. And I think, and at least I'm hoping, I think Doug Pederson and this staff is smart enough. I could be wrong. But I think they're smart enough to learn from what the hell happened last week. You saw the scripted plays. Boom, bang, boom. Ertz, Goddard. Yes, let's go. Deshaun. After that, I don't want to be hearing this nonsense after the game that I don't know if I was running or passing. I'm just worried about executing. Oh, that quote. If I hear that quote, I feel my blood boil. I can't stand it. I never want to hear that garbage again out of my head coach. Now, this episode of Sports Talk with Bros is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power, and with over 20 years of experience in the industry, they are home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. $0 electric bills. There's no risk and no need for investment. They also provide water purification, healthy, clean water for your family, backup energy services, battery storage, tree removals, and more. Make sure you check out their information. It's in the description, along with their phone number and website. So make sure you check it out. By the way, real quick, we are implementing a NFL football pick'em pool presented by BetQL. That information is also in the description. And you can win weekly prizes and a grand prize from Rosnov Jewelers. It's a championship bracelet. So make sure you get yourself signed up. The password is Brody with a capital B. All the information is in the description. Sign up. Weekly prizes. It's a no-brainer. Now, diving more into this game, when you look at the Rams, I do think that they have some players that can make things happen. And offensively, you saw what they did in week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. They had a nice run game to them. Todd Gurley, that whole thing, he was explosive early in his career. Okay, he's no longer there. You bring in someone like Brown and you have Akers, they run the ball. But I think that actually might help out the Eagles. See, normally, I'm so used to Sidney Jones, Russell Douglas, all these garbage pieces in the secondary where I go, oh man, well, if a team wants to run the ball, good luck, because the Eagles actually do a phenomenal job at stopping the run. But now I'm not as afraid with the secondary because you have Darius Slay, because I like Avonte Maddox, although his size sometimes does scare me. I do think that he can use his football IQ to make up for that lack of size. I like the secondary now. The linebackers actually did a pretty damn decent job. Now, will they be able to keep that up against different talent? Great question. Only time will tell. But I bring that up because if they want to use the running game more, if the Rams want to be a team that utilizes that run game, I think the Eagles can do a phenomenal job at stopping them, limiting them to a certain amount of rushing yards, and then force the Rams to be one-dimensional, which is passing the ball. Now, they do have weapons when it comes to passing the ball. Woods, Cooper Kupp. But the Eagles have Darius Slay now. And he did a hell of a job against Terry McLaurin, who can get open, who can use his legs, who has a motor, who flies, right? Did a damn good job. Let's see him do it again. I'm very interested to see what Jim Schwartz styles up and how he plays this week out. But with Brandon Graham still in concussion protocol, that's a problem. Vinny Curry, that did not look good. That's a problem. Depth now at the defensive front spot, it's a problem. Josh Sweat, is he your guy that you got to rely on? Now, he's intriguing. I'm not saying that he's some awful player, but he's not what Brandon Graham, Vinny Curry, him, this rotation. It's not the same when you have that type of rotation. You're fresher, right? Josh Sweat doesn't have to play as much, so when he does get thrown in there, bang, he can get in there. He's active. He's more refreshed. I think they're going to have a tough time if, Brandon Graham is stuck in concussion protocol. So keep an eye out on what happens with the defensive ends and what goes on. You got Avery. You got Casey Toohill, who they're intrigued by, but, it's not time for him to step in there. Right? Watch, he's going to have, 2 sacks and play a ton of minutes. No, come on, bros. Come on. Well, they did give him a long shot to even make the 53-man, and he was a no-brainer towards the end, so who the hell knows? Some guys are wired differently when they get that chance, but still, I don't sense that that's how it's actually going to go down. So that defensive end spot is something that I'm totally going to be wired on and focused on and see if they can create some sort of pressure. I did see that Hargrave actually practice. He was limited, but he practiced. I still think that he's got some time. And I'm just thinking, could that push Malik Jackson to a defensive end spot? Although I know he was asked about that before and he wasn't a big fan of it. But if it's your only option, if you have to because it helps out the team, maybe you go down that road. Speaking of practice, Deshaun Jackson on Wednesday, he had a rest day. So hold on a second. You're not playing him because you want to limit him. You're pouring the Joel Embiid, where you're going to do load management. You're going to rest D-Jax. You want him more for the long run, which is okay. I mean, I'm not knocking that idea, but now you're not allowing him to practice. He's getting a rest day. I mean, at what point are you playing football? At what point are you an NFL football player who goes out there and practices and plays more snaps? I feel like they're babying this to an extreme. Let's go, Deshaun. Let's go out there. Speaking of wide receivers, though, I think it's important to bring up John Hightower. He might not be ready yet. I think they threw them right into this thing, and he needs more time. I'm not saying he stinks. I'm not saying he doesn't have a skill set that I think can be utilized on this team eventually, but he looks overwhelmed. It looks like the spotlight too much. And it looks like the spotlight is too much. And it just seems as if maybe they're too obsessed with speed. Speed. Speed is great. Speed is useful. You need speed in this league. You need to get younger. I'm with it. You need to be able to have a good form and a good mix of speed and a guy who's ready to play. It can't just be speed and a dude who's too raw. Hightower is too raw right now. Rager, I really do like him. He had the 55-yard bomb. He's more ready. I would like to see him more, though. Where's, this creativity I was expecting? You bring over Scangarello. You know his background. You can hope that he implements some of that with Dougie P. Right? How about we see some motion? How about we see something quick? Get the ball out quick. Get the ball out of Carson Wentz's hands quick. Get it to Jalen Reagor. Let him go make a play. Let him do that. I can't believe it's been this long. 15 minutes in, I barely mentioned Carson. Carson needs to be a difference maker. We need the first quarter Carson Wentz. We need the Carson Wentz that's comfortable, not overthinking, not putting too much pressure on him, not holding onto the ball, praying to be that superhero player every single play. Some plays, the defense wins. Some plays, it's not going to be yours. No team in the history of the NFL, college football, midget football, Pop Warner football wins 100% of every single game. Some snaps, the offense loses that snap, right? They lose that play. It happens, but you have to live with that, and then you move on to the next play. Instead of putting yourself in a horrendous position and making it 2nd and 15 because you wanted to make that extra play and hold on to the football too long, why don't you figure it out, throw it away, make it 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 15, and then bang, you put your team in a better position. But that goes with Doug P. and Carson Wentz. They're a combination. Hey, Doug, why don't you work Carson Wentz out of the pocket a bit? Why don't you move him out of the pocket, let him throw it on the run? It's obvious that he's fantastic when he rolls to his right and he's able to throw that way. Why are we keeping him in the pocket like a statue? And then that goes to Carson. And hey, Carson, when you are standing like that as a statue, make a play or get rid of it. If the play isn't there, it's okay to wait for the next play. It is, I promise. So come on, Carson. I believe in you. I believe in him. I think he's going to step up and have a game right now. And realistically, all week, I have felt like they're going to bounce back. There's something about the Doug Pederson era that screams he has the team bounce back when needed. When things look ugly, when things look awful, he's there. He's there to make sure the team wins the next game. It's almost as if, to this point, and you could throw the rookie year away if you want to, 7-9. It's kind of tough to really assess something first year because from there it's about, okay, how do they adjust into the league? But with Carson, with Doug Pederson, they never really give you a season where you're just out of it. To this point, they always have you involved, to some degree involved. And times it gets ugly. 5-7, let's battle back, let's go on a win streak, let's beat the bad teams towards the end. But they always have you involved in the mix. It's never, hey, you're 5 games behind first place, out of first place, and it's week 8, right? That never happens. So I'm basing this off of what I have seen out of these two individuals with their tenure here in Philadelphia. That's what I'm basing it off of. You need other guys to step up, though. Someone like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, second-round pick. We heard the buzz, and here you go. You got a 0-catch performance. Dude, you are supposed to be a possession guy. Go out and catch the damn football, but he can't get separation. He's finding it hard. He can't do it. He needs to find a way to get past guys, but it's not a skill set. And it's crushing this team because you need someone like that. Everyone else, Deshaun, Reagor, Hightower, these players that you're mentioning, they're guys that fly. Now you need other guys to open up some stuff. Or you need guys to execute when the open field is available. He can't do it. Greg Ward can do it at times. Dallas Goedert with his 100-yard performance can do it. Zach Ertz, I'm not real happy with his body language, but I expect him to be a professional and come ready to play on Sunday and put everything behind him. Now, that's what I expect. Is that going to happen? I really hope so. But I know that he is a true pro, so I expect that to happen. Just crazy. This offensive line is going to have to stop Aaron Donald. Good luck. Did you see those highlights against the Dallas Cowboys? He was picking guys up in one hand and throwing them to the damn ground. They didn't stand a chance. So Jason Kelsey and whoever's playing right guard, I know they signed Brown. So that's somebody who had experience playing with the Falcons. I actually saw some clips, thanks to Trey Thomas, of him actually doing some damage against Fletcher Cox. But I don't know who's actually going to get that starting right guard spot at this very moment. I know they liked how Herbig graded out and Driscoll didn't do too bad and all this, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I don't even know if I can trust these damn people, the three stooges that speak during the week. Well, not that Howie and Jeffrey Lurie speak during the week, but the head of the three stooges, which to me is Doug Pederson. I can't trust anything. They told me Matt Pryor, who played right guard in a playoff game and did fairly well, was going to play left tackle. He's not playing anything at this point, and all these other guys are getting thrown in. So please, explain that to me. But they have a problem going up against somebody like Aaron Donald. And based off of last week, that should be a major, major, major concern. Because you know what? Lane Johnson being added, while that helps, and that's a big piece, and that's a key to success, is Lane Johnson returning. That's still going to be a problem in Aaron Donald. He changes the outcome of games. He has as much of an impact, I feel, as a damn quarterback. That's how explosive he is. That's how dominant he is. So based off of last week being the most abysmal piece of trash I've seen out of an offensive line, now you're going up against one of the best to ever do it in the history of football at the defensive tackle position. So as a unit, JP, Isaac, Jason Kelsey, whoever's playing right guard, you know, they come out and speak. I don't know who it's going to be. I can't trust them until I see someone on that field starting on Sunday. Because they could tell you whatever they want, but I don't believe them. If you told me their starting five was going to be who started the five before the game last week, I just wouldn't have believed you. And then I saw them all start the game. Is this really what we're going with? I would have never believed you. So I can't believe anything at this point. We'll have to wait. And with Lane Johnson, as a unit, they are going to need to come together and form the best they possibly can be. And I'm worried if someone goes down, here we go again, and then I'll hear the nonsense after the game. Well, they graded well one-on-one, but the communication was bad. You can't sell that to me. The communication being bad is just as important as the one-on-one stuff. Please. Please. Ramsey can do some work. He just got the big deal. Is he going to take away the best option for the Eagles, which would force Carson Wentz to have some trouble and to hold on to the football longer? This is on Doug to put Carson Wentz in a great position. You know, I say sometimes with the NBA, not sometimes, all the time, I think the NBA head coach is limited. And everyone says, well, it's all about their scheme and this and that. And look, you got LeBron, you win. You get these players, Kevin Durant, you win. Steph Curry, you win. When it comes to football, though, it's a little different. I think the football coach has more of an impact on the game than an NBA coach does in an NBA game. And with that being said, knowing Carson's flaws, we need to get something going. We got to work in some quick passes, slants, screen passes. And not this, I want like a legit screen pass. I'm not a big fan. You know when Alshon was available, they threw that wide receiver screen? Stop with that. Let's get the real screen going. They do like the old fake screen and then pass it to, like, normally it's with a tight end where they fake a screen and then Carson spins around, throws it to the other side. Maybe it's Dallas Goedert and he picks up some. I like that play. It's in their playbook. But we got to, let's go. Let's get the ball out quick. I'm okay with taking shots downfield. You can't live and die by doing that, though, every drive. This isn't baseball. Home run or strikeout. That's not what this is. You got to work the run game. Let the play action speak for itself. Take some shots downfield. Work it all. It doesn't need to be bang, bang, bang. That's where the aggressive mindset and it's not even fascination. It's like obsession with the speed and the 60-yard passes. It's a problem. I look at Doug Pederson, I go, you do very well against Sean McVay. Continue to do that, right? Just continue to do that. So we'll talk tomorrow more on this. This is just the Thursday thoughts. Look, Monday, it's Overreaction Monday. This is how the lineup normally goes. Sunday, you got your post-game reaction, boom. That night. Monday, you get your Overreaction Monday. I like to take phone calls on the 24/7 Anytime hotline, which you can call 856-442-9805. Tuesday, you still get your reaction in. It's all about the reaction to Sunday. Wednesday's a weird day. It starts the transition. Some Wednesdays, you feel like you want to look towards next week. Other Wednesdays, you still want to look at what happened the previous Sunday. Bang. Thursday, new week. Thursday starts that week. Okay, what do we have on Sunday? And then Friday, we have the Football Friday, which I like to take your phone calls as well and sense your prediction on what's going to happen on Sunday. So make sure you do that, by the way, for tomorrow's episode, tomorrow's pod. That's the way this all breaks down. I'm excited. I'm expecting big things. I saw what this team could be in the first quarter. They can be that team. I know how this city works. You're diehard Eagles fans, right? Yeah, playing great. And I'm with you. One loss, though, isn't the end of the world. It was ugly. It was brutal. You can criticize them. You can be angry with them. But let's turn the page and focus on week 2. There's 16 games for a reason, right? Let's focus on the next game. Rams, it's big. It's important. Let's not dwell. Let's move forward. I feel confident they're going to win. It's week to week in this league. You see great teams fall, and you see terrible teams win, and then the next week they get obliterated. I mean, let's be realistic. We've all watched football before. I think they sense how important this win is, because let's just throw out a hypothetical. They lose. And then maybe they beat Cincinnati. Not to get too deep in wins and losses and all this nonsense, but they would be 1-2 after 3 with 49ers, Pittsburgh, and the Ravens. That could get ugly, and that could fall apart real quick. If they win this game and they head into Cincinnati, playing Cincinnati at 1-1, big time difference. That stretch is going to be tough regardless, but you got to be in a reasonable spot heading into those 3 games. So tomorrow, Football Friday. Be prepared. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.